Have you ever looked at someone and wondered how they get their curls to look so good? Curling your hair is a way to make you feel really happy and confident with your appearance, and a lot of people use different methods of curling their hair, but sometimes they don't turn out so good. What you do at the end of your curling routine can really make or break the style, and people don't realize that you really need to be using the right temperature on your iron and a good heat protectant so that you don't end up burning your hair. Today I'll show you how to curl your hair with a clamp curling iron, and I'm going to show you how to prep your hair, make the curls, and then set them so that they last all day. So to begin, you're going to want to set your curling iron and let it heat up. You want to set your curling iron based on like your hair type. So if you have thinner hair, you'll want to kind of stay on that lower range of temperature so that you don't cause too much extra damage and really hurt your hair. But if you have like thicker hair, then it's advised to use a higher heat setting. So when you're curling, you want to use your clamps, and then you're gonna section your hair. You can do 2 or 3 sections depending on how much hair you really have. And so you're just gonna section those, and then you're gonna put it up. And then after you do that, you're going to take your hair and you're going to apply a heat protectant. And it can really be any heat protectant that you have, but you're gonna kind of spray it all over, and then you're gonna use your brush and you're gonna brush it out so that it gets on all of the hairs. And this allows it to dry as well, because you don't want to start curling if your hair is still wet, because that can also cause damage, and the heat protectant can even make it look kind of greasy, and that doesn't always look the best. So now that your hair is all prepped, we can begin curling. So you're going to want to take your curling iron, and then you're going to have the clamp facing away from you. And you're going to basically start in the middle of your hair. You're going to put it on, and then you're going to twist and pull. And then you're going to pull and then twist it up until you get all of your hair in the iron. And then you're just going to wait a few seconds for it to heat up, but you don't want to leave it on too long, or that can cause extra damage that can really make it look bad in the future. So after a few seconds, you're just going to untwist it slowly and not pull it, because pulling it can make it really flat, and you don't want that because you're going to fix it when you are styling it. So you kind of you want all of the hair to be kind of as bouncy as you can get it. And so I'm basically just going to show you again. And so we're starting in the middle of the hair to protect those ends again, because it's really important, because you don't want your ends to be super fried. And so they're kind of just actually hanging out right there, so they're not really getting any heat at all. But it's just kind of allowing you to get a curl, and it's also making it even, like all the way through. So I'll show you again. So you're just going to put it in the middle, and then you're going to twist it and pull, and twist and pull again. And so all of that hair is kind of in there. And then just wait a few seconds, not too long. And then unravel. Oh, it kind of fell out there. But even still, like it's really big, which is what you kind of want. And then, so once we get to the front of the hair, you are going to take your curling iron, and then you're going to flip it over your head, and you're going to kind of you're going to wrap it, not use the clamp, but you're going to wrap it around the iron, and then just kind of hold it for a second. And this is basically just so that you have like more dimension in the front of your hair, and it kind of it frames your face a lot better than the other way of curling. So you just hold it and then kind of let it go right there. And I like to do like a few pieces in the front so that it's not too much of like a drastic change. It kind of blends. But again, doing it this way also protects your ends because they're really not even touching the iron. So it's really nice because you can really save your hair in that aspect. Okay. So now that we have it done, we are done curling our hair, and now we're just gonna wait for it to cool off a little bit. During this time, you can finish getting ready, or you can just wait for it, but you really want the curls to be fully cooled off so that when you brush it out, they don't fall super fast, because that can happen. So you're kind of just letting it sit for right now, and then we are going to brush it through, and then I'll just go ahead and do that. So I like to use my fingers, but I know some people like to use like a comb, but either way, you're just going to start from the bottom, and you're gonna very lightly just start combing it out. And then for the top, you're gonna start from the back and then work up front. And then if you get knots or your fingers are getting stuck, don't try to force it through, because that can also cause the curls to really fall. And then you're just gonna do both sides. And then it doesn't have to be perfect right now because you can do it once we are done setting them with hairspray. And so here we have just the curls. And now you're going to take your hairspray and you're just gonna lightly spray it, and you're gonna lift your roots so that you get a ton of volume. And then you're just gonna spray it a little bit on the ends and then kind of scrunch it up so that they hold. And you're just gonna do it on the other side too. And make sure not to use a bunch of hairspray or too much, because that can make the curls really heavy. And that is not good either. So yeah, and then just kind of finish brushing it out. And yeah, so curling your hair it's pretty simple when you follow the 3 steps of prep, curl, and set. You start by prepping the hair and setting it to the right temperature, and you want to section it so that you get all of the hair, and then use heat protectant. And then you want to curl your hair by wrapping it around the curling iron and then working from the back to the front. Then you let your curls cool, and then you want to brush through and add a little hairspray so that the curls have a lot of volume and hold. If you follow these steps, then your curls will look better, last longer, and your hair will stay healthier.